In this week's Parsha Kiteitzei, chapter 22, Pasuk 8, the Torah says a very interesting particular mitzvah. Basically, it is protecting the safety and the lives of others, of everyone. And the Torah says like this: Kisivne bayis chodosh, when you build a new home, a new house, v'osisa maka legagecha, and you should make a guardrail for your rooftop. V'loisosim domim beveisecha, so as not to cause blood in your house, ki yipol hanoifil mimeno, if someone will fall from it. Rambam, in the laws of Rotzeach Hashmiras HaNefesh, says the following: Mitzvahs aseh laises odom mako legagoy. There's a positive commandment for a man to build a guardrail for his roof. As it says, what in the pasuk we just quoted, v'osisa mako legagecha, you should make a guardrail for your roof. But then later on in Halacha 4 in the same chapter 11, he says the following: Echad hagag ve'echad kol davar sheyesh bo sakana. This requirement applies to a roof, but it also applies to any place that might present a danger and cause a person to stumble and die. For example, if a person has a well in this courtyard, he must erect a sand wall 10 handbreadths high around them, or make a cover over them, so as that a person will not fall in and die. Similarly, says the Rambam, every situation where there is a danger, every obstacle that there is a danger for a person's life, there is a commandment to be careful and make sure that nobody is hurt. As the pasuk says, beware of yourself and guard your soul. So therefore, says the Rambam, if a person leaves a dangerous obstacle and does not remove it, he negates the observance of a positive commandment and violates the negative commandment, do not cause blood to be spilled. I'm not going to go into the extensive halachic discussion between the Ramban and the Rambam, etc., codifiers and many commentators, as to exactly which part of it is considered the positive commandment, which is the prohibition of not causing to spill somebody's blood. Further, do we say a mitzvah a bracha, I should say, when you make a mica, a fence? What kind of mitzvah? Similar to when you put up a mezuzah? All this is extensive halachic discussions, which this is not the place for it. But I do want to share with you a beautiful insight that the Rebbe gives on this whole concept of this mitzvah, because we see particularly that the Torah emphasizes a rooftop. If it's all about just protecting lives in general, then the Torah should say, make sure not to cause anybody else's damages, cause endangering any other people. Something particular about the rooftop. So the Rebbe says, and this is very specific for this time of the year, the month of Elul, where we are called upon to do some serious introspection in our stage in Yiddishkeit, in our relationship with God, in our sincerity, in our honesty, where we're up to. So the Rebbe says the following: the rooftop, erecting a makkah, a guardrail around the roof of a house, is actually a tremendous lesson in humility. The rooftop represents a person's pride and self-importance. And the Torah says it is extremely necessary to put a guardrail around it. A person must limit and contain his pride, because pride and arrogance is the root of all spiritual falling, all spiritual deterioration. Interesting, the Sifri says that this guardrail on the roof even applies to the Heichal, to the Beis Hamikdash. In other words, in spiritual terms, that we must be cautious of pride even when it stems from spiritual achievement, and indeed achievement. Yet this should not be cause for self-aggrandizement and for pride, because it is equally harmful as the pride which is caused by material success. Certainly, says the Rebbe, we should be confident about our devotion to God and His Torah. Yet at the same time, we must be careful not to allow this to develop into feelings of arrogance. For even on the roof of the Heichal, even the height of spiritual achievement, there is a risk of spiritual downfall if our pride is not contained. Beautiful, important message. Rabbeinu Shalom, we're talking about the Heichal, the rooftop of the Beis HaMikdash. So give us the Beis HaMikdash with the rooftop.